Welcome to CPG Vibes. No scripts,
just chat.
I'm Alex Baer.
And I'm Wade Yenny.
Each episode is recorded live, and we talk all things food and beverage, and so much more.
Feel our vibe and search for CPG Vibes on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and make sure to give us a 5-star review.
If you'd like to sponsor our show with your product or service, email us at cpgvibes100@gmail.com.
Now, let's vibe.
All right, welcome to episode 138 of CPG Vibes. Hope everyone is doing well. We have a really great show for you today. We're going to talk about two main subjects. We're growing a sustainable company, specifically in CPG. That's why we're here, right? We're CPG. With the fact that there's businesses that are going out of business or businesses that are struggling, this topic is hotter than ever, and Wade and I will share our knowledge about that. Whatever knowledge we have, we're sharing on the show. That's all we got, right? We're giving it all here and laying it all out on the field.
Well, Alex froze, so I'm going to guess this is my opportunity to tap dance and sing and do all kinds of things. So welcome, everyone. I see we have multiple Dereks joining us, as well as Robert and Hugh. And I don't know, I feel like I'm reading off the Little House on the Prairie or whatever that show was that had all the characters in the background. I had a name, but having a good week this far. Excited to talk to everybody today. And while we're waiting for Alex to get back and join us, we might as well talk about our sponsors. And so we have ongoing sponsors, and we'll start with Range Me. Range Me is the smartest way to get your brand in front of thousands of retailers. Experience always on brand exposure, exclusive buyer discovery opportunities, and access to proprietary insights, research, and resources. With over 15,000 buyers, Range Me ensures continuous exposure to retail buyers from top retailers like Target, Albertsons, Whole Foods, Sprouts, Publix, Kroger, Costco, Wegmans, H-E-B, Food Lion, Giant Foods, Fresh Market, and many more. I got to take a breath. But that's not all. Range Me, combined with ECRM category sessions, deliver exclusive live in-person events where you can meet directly with leading national and regional retail buyers for curated face-to-face meetings. Ready to elevate your brand? Visit www.rangeme.com/CPG Vibes to explore membership options and save up to 30%. Act now and secure the premium membership for just $9.99, which is regularly $13.99, or the Pro subscription for $16.99, which is regularly $24.99. So a huge savings there. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Head to www.rangeme.com/CPG Vibes to unlock these exclusive discounts on the Range Me memberships. And remember, you have to use that CPG Vibes link and mention CPG Vibes to get the discount, or you can hit that QR code that's on the screen in front of you to be able to activate the screen. So, Alex, you joined us back. I was tap dancing. I was singing. You missed it. So, yeah. So, do you want to do my way? You want me to take it?
Sure. I'll do my way. It's amazing. And apologies for that, folks. But you got Wade. You got more Wade, which is always better. I have been having internet issues, and I got Spectrum covers in this area. I'm in California. I'm not in the middle of the hurricane or something. So it's not because of the hurricane or the aftermath. And I got a Spectrum guy to come out here. I got him to check all the wires downstairs, upstairs. He replaced all the wire coaxial cables and everything with brand new ones. And he said, you will no longer have issues because it was a really old cable. and he put a new modem, new router. He was here for 2 hours, and he left with a smile, and he said everything should be working great. And here we are where it's not working. So funny how that doesn't work, right? So with all that said, our second sponsor, I'm connecting to my phone now just as the backup, so we should be good here on out. So My Way 3PL. My Way 3PL's logistics solutions were born from seeing all the pain points CPG brands go through with other logistics providers. With a solid foundation of proven results and cost savings and operational enhancement, they offer a true balance of both strategy and execution. Partner with My Way 3PL to streamline your logistics and scale from small to large or from large to even larger. myway3pl.com/CPG vibe. Same thing as Range Me, where you need to go to the landing page, my way, and then the number 3pl.com/CPG vibes for more information. You mentioned CPG vibes. You get your first pallet for 1 month, 1 month free at their vast selection of distribution centers across the country. So good stuff there. And I'm just checking audio. That's all good. And then did you mention our weekly sponsor yet or no?
I did not.
Okay. I'll let you continue to catch your breath. It's hard, right, to do a lot of words at once.
It
It's
is.
hard. Yeah, got to get those ventilators. Got to get, that's what the sponsorship money's for. We need to buy ventilators. So, with all that said, we have our weekly sponsor, which is Heel Tea, and the CEO and co-founder, Leela Cairns, and Heel Tea is all about making beverages better, combining a healthy body and mind in every sip. And as a founder of this distinct brand, Leela is passionate about promoting wellness through their delicious sparkling drinks. Additionally, she's a certified PPCC coach dedicated to empowering others on their entrepreneurial journeys to change the story they tell themselves to have the best business and life they dream of. And so she's a very good friend of Robert Kogan. Robert Kogan, PFE, is basically one of the co-sponsors on the show, and he has generously putting the spotlight on Heel Tea and Leela for this episode. And she's a great friend of theirs, and he's a great friend of theirs, I should say. And he loves the brand. And for those that don't know, Robert Kogan with PFE, he does distribution in Canada, and Heel Tea is a Canadian brand. However, they are in retailers in the U.S., such as Lassen's, Erewhon, and others that she'll be talking about in this show. Also, really, really big deal. They are giving away, how they can win prizes. You can win prizes right on the show. So they're going to be giving away a prize totaling nearly $200. It's four packs of the Heel Tea sparkling beverages, one of each flavor, estimated value. And there's also a coaching session worth $150. So total value of the sodas, of these drinks, I should say, these tonic drinks, and also the coaching is nearly $200. And to specify, right, again, because we don't prepare for anything on the show. You can tell by the way I'm talking right now, stumbling over my words, that this is a sparkling botanical infusion, caffeine-free, organic, and there's ginger chamomile. I just got the package literally an hour ago. Peppermint dandelion, nettle and rosemary, and hibiscus and mango. I think I got all four covered here. And Wade, you have not received yours yet, right? You're still waiting.
I've not, and I'm very jealous and upset, and I might throw a tantrum. But no, I think I'm excited.
I want to see that.
Well, be careful what you ask for. I'm really excited to talk to Leila, talk a little bit more because as we were talking before the show started, I don't know that I've seen. If I have, it's escaping me. A sparkling tea. Everything is kind of still, what I would describe as still, and her tea is also herbal. So I'm excited to try it when it does show up. But nonetheless, I'm excited to talk about it as well. So very, very cool stuff.
Yeah, and it's phenomenal to make you. I'm trying to get you to that tantrum stage because I really want to see that shit. But this is delicious, and the ingredients. It's herb infusion, carbonated reverse osmosis water, ginger, chamomile, maple syrup, lemon juice, 100% organic. So doesn't get better than that.
Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. And I was telling, before we started the show, I was telling, she might need some help in the U.S. And Alex, who do you think I told her she should talk to about help growing U.S. sales in the space?
Does it rhyme? I can't make a
I
joke,
was going
but
to say
it's
you
let's
can't
say
make
it's
it a
V
joke.
driven. It's
Yeah,
V driven.
it
That's
is.
right.
It is. And you know what? Before, since we just kind of plugged the show, or I just kind of plugged my company. I did make a post today. I'll put the link up here in the chat that we are going to be doing another masterclass coming up, talking about deductions, everyone's favorite subject. So I'll put that link in so you can see and register for it. It's completely free. And love to have you join myself and Luke Abbott as we talk about everyone's favorite subject.
It is. Yeah, and I
Sarcasm
saw that.
intended. Sarcasm intended.
Yeah, and what's the subject again? The subject line of that?
Deductions.
I thought it was like victor or victim or something. Or was that the one that just happened?
Um,
I
I'm not
got
sure.
you. I got you on the ropes. You're searching. You're searching.
I don't.
So
I was gonna say.
so
Tell
I
me.
signed up for that one. So I did the victor or victim, which talks
Yes.
about how to be a victor in the CPG space and watch deductions and how to increase your margin to be more sustainable, which ties right into what we're saying, what we're going to talk about today on the show. But that webinar for V Driven is also coming up
That's
in
the one, the
that's the
link that I
one.
just put in.
That's the
That's the
one.
one I just put in.
Okay.
Yes. But it's centered around deduction management and, deductions. And like I said, everyone's favorite subject. So
Right. And there are victims to deductions. So I think it's appropriately titled there. And I also want to shout out Feel Free Botanic Tonics. They sent me a hoodie. Love these hoodies. It's getting cold out there, right? Cold out here means 50 degrees, which is warm in most areas in the country. So thank you, Feel Free Botanic Tonics, the Kava Kratom shot for sending this hoodie. They're very, very cool. And I'll just shout out the top of the hour, and we're going to get into our subject. But I just want to at the top of the hour, we'll do in the stuff we love, but preview Suburban Life. It's one of the first that I've seen canned cocktails with bourbon in it, and it's 6 year. I got your attention. The B word. I got your attention.
what?
So I don't usually drink canned cocktails. I don't have White Claw or Cutwater and High Noon and all those guys. Even though I play golf, High Noon's popular. But this product is phenomenal. It's 6 years aged in barrels, bourbon mixed in with real fruit juices, nothing artificial, no chemicals, no additives. You know how ingredients are not supposed to go on the they don't have to go, for alcohol, you don't have to have ingredients on there.
Mm-hmm.
They list the ingredients. I've never seen this before in a canned cocktail, and it's super super clean.
So
So
I'm missing. Let me get this straight. I'm missing heel tea. I'm missing a hoodie, and now I'm missing bourbon.
and
The
breeze.
tantrum that I have breeze. I got that.
Okay, good. You got one of
Tantrum,
those.
the tantrum really is going to happen.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, I was going
there's
to
a
say,
vein in your forehead.
oh
It's
my
coming out. I'm
gosh.
seeing it. I'm
Oh, wait,
seeing
where's
it.
my bourbon at, for crying out loud? Jeez.
Yeah. Well, I guess they got to send it to you now, don't they?
Yeah. Jeez. Oh, yeah.
And they also sent me a pink shirt, a pink Suburban Life shirt, which either you can wear or your wife can wear, Renee. So yeah, there's stuff that you need to get. You're
I was
behind
going to say, you're
right
going
now.
to have to, whoever sent that to you, you're going to have to
Grease the
explain to
wheels.
them, yeah, how things work. But yeah.
What's the
Good stuff.
percentage on there? I think Jared is asking. It's a
Yeah.
lower ABV. So it's like, when you have these canned cocktails, it's also for it's for managing how much alcohol you're having, right? Versus getting like a cocktail at a bar where you have no idea how the bartender makes it and how much is actually in it. You can get way more drunk than you think, or not as drunk as you think. It is 5% ABV, 5% alcohol
Nice.
per 12 ounce. So yeah, this is a newcomer, and I think one of the first, or one of the, there's not that many of these bourbon infused canned cocktails, and I had one. Again, I don't usually drink alcohol a lot, but it is phenomenal. And they're launching online, and they're in the New Jersey area and starting to go more regional and national. So look out for Suburban Life, and suburbanlife.com, I believe, is the website, and we'll post that in the comments here.
Excellent. So what I was going to say real quick, we didn't hit yet, but I'll hit since I've got the link up, is remember that past episodes of the show, including last week's special episode with female founders, the expert series, you can find on YouTube. And I just put the link up there if you want to see visually as well as listen, or you can find us on Apple Podcasts, which I'll put the link up to that as well. So you can see all the old episodes or listen to all the old episodes on Apple Podcasts. And they are both right there. There's your links.
Nice. I know visual can be a little dangerous when looking at both of us, but if you tough it out, I guarantee you'll love it on YouTube. So,
And we
but
did miss one last thing, Alex, is with regards to Apple Podcasts. If you would take 5 seconds of your life, go to Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review, a rating. You don't have to give a review. Reviews are great. If you want to add some words to the review, you can certainly do that. But by simply giving us 5 stars, you help us keep us the number one rated podcast, CPG podcast in the world. And certainly helps us with the algorithms and all that stuff associated with Apple Podcasts.
cool. And then you obviously mentioned the number one, right? Because I cut out there, but
Yep.
yeah. So we're
Yep.
in that number one spot. Keep us number one. So, all right. Well, let's get into our subject, which is growing a sustainable company. And the newswire, right? This newswire hit about Better Brands and what's going on with them, right? And I actually got an update. For those that don't know, Better Brands is the maker of low carb, higher protein buns, bagels, and other traditionally wheat products, right, with gluten in it and stuff. And they raised several tens of millions of dollars. They were valued at 170 million, and suddenly their website in the last week shut down. No one could reach anyone there, and they were way behind on orders, and they were having quality issues. So, what I heard today on BevNet on the Nosh podcast is that they're reaching out to them, and they did turn the website back on, and they are starting to fulfill orders again. But with all that said, they're still having major challenges and quality issues and things that are hurting them to get back on track, and they have a lot of customers that are not happy. So the reason I mention all this is, number one, I posted about it earlier. I wanted to provide an update of what I heard today, so there's more accurate information. They're not completely out of business, but they're struggling. So it goes to show you that there's brands out there that are raising so much money and have a product that is different, yet they are having challenges. And there's a reason why these brands are having challenges. And, I kind of come out the gate saying, when you're making your product, the number one thing to look at, there's a couple things to look at. Number one, are people going to really like this product? Is it filling some kind of a need or a void? But I think most importantly, does it taste good? Does it taste good? And is the texture good? Is it likable? And on top of that, is it a great brand name? Lemon Perfect's a great brand name. Koi is a great brand name. V Driven is a great consulting service and agency name, right? And team. So it's got to be a very, Suburban Life, Breeze. These are all very, very catchy names. Feel free. So it's got to have all that going, but the product quality has to be rock solid, because you're going against these major titans that have products that could be the same quality or maybe inferior. You got to be better than the big guys to give people a reason to go over to you and also spend the money. So there's the quality side, which is the foundation and the rock solid foundation of your business. And then you also need to do a margin calculator to make sure you have proper margin when you launch your product. A lot of founders and team members, unfortunately, say, well, when I get bigger and scale, I'll start to, make my margin back and have sustainable margins a year down the road, 2 years down the road. But what happens if you miss your sales targets, right? Let's say you miss your sales targets and you're not fulfilling what you projected to do. Now you're not getting economies of scale. Now your costs are not coming down the way you thought it was going to come down, because you're not doing the volume you thought you were going to do. And now you have less margin, compressed margin, less cash flow, which then in turn creates a problem with the company, where the company is struggling and doesn't have the cash needed to operate. And I feel like, Wade, out of all the reasons that I see businesses go out of business, it's those, I guess, 2.5 or 3 things I just mentioned, right? It's not having quality product or a product that tastes good, not having proper margins, and not hitting your sales goals and falling short on cash flow. Like, that to me just nails why companies struggle and they're not sustainable. And then they also go too far, too wide, right? Which is a whole other subject, which we've talked about a million times on this show. But Wade, what do you think? I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, I think oftentimes, especially in my last tenure at the Fresh Market, we always talked about with regards to kind of going back into what you talked about. We talked about taste first, right, and being so kind of aligned with having to have a good product, right? It has to taste good, otherwise you're pretty much up against the wall to start with, right? But then I think also is differentiating. I don't know that you mentioned that. If you did, just what are you bringing to the category that isn't already there? It's not simply, unfortunately, in this day and age, it's not. You can't just taste good and get on the shelf. Just that one thing just can't get you on the shelf. You have to bring something to the category. Ultimately, you want to help the entire category grow, and by bringing, filling some white space that exists in the category, or offering some kind of some variety in general with regards to what the offering is already there. In other words, if you have a clone of what's already on the shelf, and I'm already happy with my assortment, and or the category is performing okay, why do I need to bring something else in that isn't proven, or just doesn't have the data to support doing so? Whereas if you have something that, whether it's an attribute, whether it's a story, whether it's something along with a good taste, or great taste, to bring something to category, I think that's where you can start to add value in that regard. But I think, yeah, we have talked about, not going 100 places overnight, and I think as I talk to more and more brands these days, I think so often, especially those in the emerging space, really understanding the cycle with regards to getting on shelf and what that looks like when you start talking about category reviews. And I'm continually, I won't say amazed, but I'm continually surprised by how many people just don't understand that, okay, if you write a check today, that doesn't mean you're on the shelf tomorrow, right? I mean, it can be, typically 4 6 months before, especially these larger retailers, before you get on the shelf, and you have to plan for that. So when you start talking about being financially responsible, you have to build that into your plan, so that you can't simply make a presentation today. The buyer can love the product, the category manager can love the product, but it doesn't mean it gets on the shelf tomorrow. You have to have your distributor set up. When you start talking about multi-state operators, the execution operationally at store level with regards to resets and all those things to get the product on the shelf, that takes time, and money and hours. And even a place that does it well, if the reset is scheduled for today, for example, and you have a multi-state operator, it's going to be spread out. It's probably not going to you're not going to see full execution realistically, maybe not even a month. It might take a month to get it for every store. And a lot of that, not pulling any punches, a lot of that boils down to execution at store level, and some stores execute better than others. And I'm not speaking to retailer specific. Every retailer is going to have A store managers and subpar store managers, and execution takes a while. So point in all this is simply that, understanding when you're building your financial aspect and your outlook on and your plan, you have to plan ahead for those costs and the lack of return until things start flowing through. And I think, Alex, I'm sure you can appreciate that with your experience and what you've seen with regards to resets and how things happen, and how it takes some time.
Yeah, I mean, it comes back to this, cash flow, right? I mean, there's businesses that can be profitable, yet you have no cash flow, right? Like you can have 10% net profit. So you do $1 million, let's say, in revenue, and you have $100,000 in profit, but that $100,000 has to be locked up in inventory or raw materials or co-manufacturing. And then, I can speak on from Genius Juice from our days when we were doing the coconut smoothie. And you may lose your lunch here from hearing this, but during the height of the pandemic, and especially in the height of the supply chain issues in 2021 and part of 2022, we would put money down to buy coconut, and then within maybe a couple weeks they would harvest the coconut and get the water and the meat out and blend it and bottle it and all that good stuff. From putting the money down to put in the order with Asia or Thailand, I should say, to getting the product, which took, at the height of the pandemic, 3 to 4 months, right? Container through the port, clearing customs, trucking, going from a container to the truck, from the port to our warehouse, and trucking it over. It took about 3 to 4 months. And then on top of that, once we get the product, we're ordering a lot of products. We're sitting on hundreds of thousands of dollars of inventory. We get an order from a distributor within a few weeks. or sooner, and then it ships out to the store. And then by the time it hits the shelf, we're talking another week or two. So we're talking about, and then the distributors pay in, they're supposed to pay in 30 days, right? The national ones, but they pay in 45 days or 60 days. It gets delayed sometimes, right? Especially if you're sending checks. And so you're looking at a 6-month turnaround from when you put your money down 50% or 30% or whatever it is, to at least international supply chain with Genius Juice, to getting the product and selling it and then getting your money for that. And on top of that, you have to pay the other 50% owed, right? After there's net terms, like maybe 30 days, 40, whatever that is. And so we're paying the net terms. And so now we've paid for the entire supply raw materials, and we haven't got a single dime yet from any of our distributors or anyone, because they just sold it in, right? Or they just bought it from us. So it poses a big issue where a lot of these brands may be profitable, or some may be profitable, which is really hard to do in it by itself. But on top of that, even if they are profitable, the cash is locked up in raw materials and inventory, and they don't have the money to spend on marketing to pump the brand. So, I mean, what's becoming really, really, more popular now are models where you go regionally. We've talked about this so many times on the show, where you avoid the big distributors. You avoid KeHE or Unify or CNS, which again, they're always going to have challenges, right? No matter what national distributor you go with. But when you're smaller and you can't stomach the slotting fees, you can't stomach the chargebacks and how much administration it takes. If you go with a smaller distributor, such as Rainforest or High Touch or Good Stuff up in Northern California, and there's like hundreds of these distributors that are DSD, they go directly to the store. They're going to take better care of your product. There's going to be very minimal chargebacks, and you can budget for what their margin is, right, in your P&L. So I think I've seen brands that have been only in Southern California, and they grow organically in 100 or 200 stores, coffee shops or eateries or natural stores, and they've been able to pull in over $1 million in revenue. Isn't that crazy? Like
Mm-hmm.
a couple hundred stores or 300 stores, and are pulling in over $1 million in revenue because, and we'll get to the comments here. There's a lot of comments coming in, because where they are going is where the product belongs. Where they are going is where the product belongs. It's where it's going to sell, and it's where customers get it right away. So I would rather, if I were to launch a new CPG brand tomorrow, I'd rather be in, let's say, 150 natural stores versus being in 500 conventional or 800 conventional, because those natural stores that are the best fit for maybe this product, it's going to move a lot more. You're going to have more organic velocity. And guess what? If you have organic velocity, you don't have to spend as much, right, on promotions. Promotions are important, right, to get people to buy for the first time and drive trial. But you don't need to be, maybe you don't need to be on promotion every quarter if the product is moving organically. So it goes back to the inch wide, mile deep, and it goes back to like not going national with big distributors until you're ready.
Yeah, and I think it's the crawl, walk, run mentality, and I think ultimately you talked about what I would call probably like a stage one type growth, and when you look to stage two, whether it's a regional or maybe it's definitely not conventional, definitely not mass or anything like that. Maybe it's Whole Food, Sprouts, some of these larger accounts. You probably more than likely are going to have to look at one of the larger distributors, but you've kind of built your core business enough that you hopefully can expand out there. And I know, again, using my example, if you wanted to get into all the fresh markets, you had to do business with either Unify or checks. Those were your two options. You had to do business with one of those two to serve. And so I think the point with that is understanding is if you're ready, first and foremost, do you want that account? And if you do, I think you mentioned, and I know I certainly can relate with what we do at V Driven with regards to ROI, is looking at and seeing, does it make sense for you at a retailer? And it doesn't matter, for that matter, if you're an emerging brand, it doesn't matter if it's 4 stores or 400 stores. What is the ROI? Because some of those smaller natural chains in Southern California, the cost of getting into those stores is not cheap. Whether you talk about slotting, when you talk about free fills, when you talk about required promotions, and things that and that's all things you should consider prior to committing to going on the shelf. And I tell people all the time, it's okay to say no, right? Whether it's a larger retailer, whether it's a smaller retailer that's very expensive, it's okay to say no. And I'd rather have putting my not my current hat, my old hat on as a category manager or a buyer. I'd rather have someone tell me no, not right now, or the timing's not right, or something, than to say yes and not be able to supply me, or to say yes and not be able to fulfill the promotions and things that I need for my business. And it's okay as a brand to say no. And it sounds probably silly for so many people that are, they think the goal is to get out there and sell, 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 sell. But if it's not, to your point, if it's not the right account, whether it's the wrong channel, whether it's an account that's going to be very, very costly, it's okay to say no, and then eventually, if it makes sense, it makes sense. But don't be afraid to say no, especially if finances and money, if it's an issue, it's okay.
Yep, you nailed it, 100%, and very well said. There's two other notes that I want to make here, and then we're going to roll into mentioning our partners and sponsors, and then we'll bring on Leela with Heel Tea, and she is the co-founder and CEO to talk about their product. They're this week's sponsor. So I just another big shout out for Sprouts and the innovation set, right? I know V Driven works closely with Sprouts, and you're getting products in there all the time through your connection that you have with the buyers and also the foragers, right? This forager program that is through Sprouts. But I love the innovation set there. And it's very friendly to smaller brands that want to dip their toe in the water and see, you know what, if we have traction locally, right, in our hometown or regionally, what if we go into 400 and 400 odd stores with Sprouts in the innovation set for 3 months? How will this do? How will this connect with consumers across different state lines and different areas in the country and different demographics, whether it's higher income, middle income? Because Sprouts is all over, right? They've expanded to many different areas of the country that fit different demographics, and it's very fascinating to see how will a chocolate covered date do, in Florida versus California versus Washington, like these things. So it's really cool. So, and then on top of that, they don't have any slotting fees or free fills, I should say, for Sprouts Innovation Set. So I like to tout that because it's a great way to dip your toe in the water, get feedback, and then Sprouts is nice enough and they're understanding that even if it doesn't succeed the first time, it's not like you're out. This is not that type of relationship. This is, maybe it doesn't work right now. Go back to the drawing board, build it locally, build your social media, maybe reformulate, update your packaging a little bit. And you learned a lot from your launch with Sprouts nationally, and come back stronger, and you can pitch us again. And that's been the attitude and the mentality of Sprouts, which I really, really like. So from the heart, it's a big kudos to them. The other thing I will mention too is, and again, go to V Driven, right? Because they work with Sprouts and they have presentations all the time in different categories with the forager. So reach out to Luke or this beautiful man right here.
Oh, I love Luke, but he's going to tell you he's going
Go
to
to you.
forward it to me. So just go to me. Let's cut the middleman out. Luke, I'll tag Luke when I need to. But yeah, he's
Exactly.
gonna tell you to come to me anyway. So that's why I came on board, was to help Luke so he could go to Sprouts twice a month and be in person for those events. So yeah,
Yep.
it's but kidding aside, it is and I tell a lot of brands when we're talking about that innovation piece, it is a economical way to get in, and kudos to them for what they're doing. And you're starting to see other retailers try and replicate that mindset, and hopefully it does have a little bit of a ripple effect where some of the smaller retailers, Sprouts is huge. If they can execute it and make it work, smaller retailers should be able to do something comparable without having to give an arm and a leg to have a test to see if something works. I think brands are receptive to spending money where it makes sense, but when you're bootstrapped and you're just getting started, you really have to watch your pennies. And so when you have a retailer as large as Sprouts willing to bring you in and do things differently, and kind of cut out some of those costs that are so prohibitive when you're just getting started, it just makes me think, why can't everybody do it the same way, or come up with a similar program initially, at the end of the day, everybody has their goals financially. Retailers need more money. They want money to come in, and I get that, but and at some point you have to pay the piper. Make no mistake about it. But
Yeah,
but
pay,
if
pay
you
to
can
play, pay to
if
play.
you can at least get in to get started and work on some of that, I think
Yep, yep.
it's a good way to go.
100%. One last thing, and then because Leela's been waiting super patiently. She's chugging, she's chugging her heel tea. I can see her in the waiting room there. She's holding it up. We can see her, but you can't see her yet. She's doing one big last chug before we bring her on. Is the it has such a negative connotation, but outsourcing, you know,
Mhm.
where companies you have your core members, right? You have your CEO, you have your CMO, but there's a lot of positions now that could be potentially outsourced, whether it's someone making calls to stores, right, checking in on orders, whether it's someone doing administration or accounting. And I know V driven, right, like there's leveraging there, right, where there's a combination of people here and plus abroad, right, and supporting other economies. So it's becoming more common that agencies and also brands are hiring people, whether in the Philippines, whether in South America, other areas of the country where the cost of living is less out there, and so you don't have to pay them. You don't have to pay them as much, right? You don't have to pay them as much. And I do remember, like there's one person that we hired that was an executive administrator, and she's fantastic. And she was from and this is with Genius Juice from the Philippines, and it was like $1,000 a month. And I know that wage here would be 3 to 4,000 a month. I'm all for supporting America and supporting our economy, but if you spend too much money on personnel, there will be no company and there will be no jobs. So you have to look out for your bottom line and your profit first to stay alive and stay in business. And outsourcing for certain areas of your company is really ideal. And like I was scared at first to do it, but what I learned is these are individuals that train and practice to work with American companies, right?
Mhm.
They know English perfectly. They can communicate. They also adjust the hours to where they're available during business hours here in America. And so they stay up at night to work. And I've seen many businesses doing tens of millions of dollars, some hundreds of millions, that utilize outsourced workforce, and it works really well. So,
Well said.
yep. All right. So, we're going to be going into our sponsors here. Just a quick mention for My Way and My Way 3PL and Range Me. So if you'd like to find out more information about logistics solutions, they really relieve a lot of the pain points that many brands go through with logistics and storing and trucking and distribution centers. They have a fantastic streamlined setup. So go to myway3pl.com/CPG vibes. Then you have Range Me, working with 15,000 buyers, and you can get 30% off their membership. And there was a comment, Wade, earlier, like very early in the episode, which is about Range Me and how they've gotten accounts from it. There it is. LinkedIn user. Range Me seems to be a great link with
Derek,
private
that's
label.
Derek from Prana.
That's Derek from Prana. Cool. Yeah.
Mhm.
So they use Range Me Prana, and they're a big company, huge in Canada and growing in the US. So go to rangeme.com/CPG vibes. It's a rounding error on your P&L, all the founders out there, and you can get in front of up to 15,000 buyers with your submission and get a bunch of accounts from it and get business and grow your revenue. So with all that said, we're going to welcome to our show here for about 5-7 minutes, and she can talk about her story. But we have Heel Tea. They are the sponsor for this episode, and they're offering a $200 grand prize of of 4 4-packs and also a $150 coaching session, since she does work with CPG founders and help them on their journey. So welcoming to the show, we have Leela Cairns, pronouncing her name right.
Hi,
Welcome,
guys.
welcome, welcome to our show, Leela.
Welcome.
Thank you. Excited to be here. That was a great conversation. My goodness. It's like you were, speaking about my companies directly.
It resonates with a lot of different brands out there, and that's our hope, is we want to help anyone and everyone tuning in and provide resources and value to everyone tuning in. So, but enough about me and Wade. We've been blabbing for incoherently for 45 minutes. Tell us about you. Tell us about your story and about the product. Anything you'd like to share. The floor is yours.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks for having me, first of all. Hi, Robert. Hi, Derek. Hi, everybody in the chat. You were talking
Canada is
about
well
lunch
represented
bagels.
today. Yes.
It was great. Thanks for, saying that our product tastes good. I'm drinking
It
some
does.
green cheers.
I would tell you. I would tell you if it tasted bad. Trust me,
Okay, thank you.
I have
Please.
no filter, and it tastes really good.
Okay, awesome. I'm glad you enjoy it. So, we started the company because there were many things that came together, but mostly we were thirsty for something that was completely natural that you can drink morning, day, night, that anybody can drink, like for every in between. Basically, you drink your coffee, you drink your energy drinks, you drink everything has caffeine or refined sugars, or even sparkling water has perfumes and artificial ingredients, even instead of herbs they use perfumes and stuff like that. So we were like, okay, how can we do a beverage that's clean label, but that tastes good? So the best of the conventional and the best of the alternative. And then we were studying all the alternative sodas and stuff like that. They're still, synthetically mostly made. They have perfumes, fillers, and preservatives. And then I even see on their websites that they have sometimes they recommend drinking only one because there's fermentation and it could upset someone's stomach. So I'm like, okay, well, what can we drink then? And at the same time, my dad had a open heart surgery and he was addicted to sodas. So the surgeon said, if you don't stop your bad habits, we don't know what we can do for you like anymore. Your arteries are all like not good. So I'm like, okay, all these things came together. I have 3 kids. They want to drink something healthy. They find water boring. So we were talking about that with my Italian neighbor. He's an Italian chef. And he was like, well, why don't we do a ready to drink made of nettle? Like he said that like out of the blue. And then I was like, yes, that's it. That's exactly it. That's what we do.
Oh, we lost her.
Okay. I don't know if I thought that was me because I'm having the internet issues, but it
Oh,
looks
yeah.
like we lost her.
She's back.
Are you?
Layla,
You're
you're
back.
back.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Right.
Keep
We lost
going.
you for a second. We lost you
Yeah.
for a second.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, and so yeah, we just chose to use herbs that are renowned and used for millennia, that every traditional culture has used in their consumption. And then we started experimenting, and Francesco, my partner, he just put lemon juice and a bit of organic maple syrup, which is our natural ready sugar alternative. That's the best sugar in North America, so a local sugar as well, and healthy, super healthy, and the taste was great. And so we were like, yeah, we got something, and the market was there too. The market's exactly looking for that, so we're like right on our X right now. So it's going well across Canada and a bit in the US so far. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, I want to talk a little bit about. I know we're going to give something away, and one of the things we're giving away is a coaching session. Tell us
Yeah.
about the coaching session. What does that entail?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we started the business, we didn't find anybody that could help us with the business. Like we had to learn everything from zero. We didn't know about certifications and food safety, and we knew absolutely nothing. So, and it was really hard to get somebody like maybe sometimes, hey, can I take you for a coffee? And we learned on the spot from other founders. And so then I was thinking, like, how can I be of service? Like, when I'll know all this, I want to be the somebody I didn't have. So I went to get certified by the university to be a business coach. And it's my passion because I like to share. It's important for me, like body and mind. So body, that's my, my passion for body, to make your body a bit healthier, but your mindset has everything to do with it. Because I think that's what helped me evolve the most, is having the right mindset to, with all the highs and lows that we have in business that we were just talking about, we need to have a specific kind of mindset. So that's my contribution to the industry. And I love, especially when it's on my direct industry, food and beverage, but I love helping anybody. Like, I'm helping somebody opening a gym right now, and another person in IT, and that's all super interesting to me. So it's just being there, the support, the foundation for, because that's the key. If you're down, if your energy's done, your business is going to just fall. So that's the biggest investment you can make. And the best investment you can make is in yourself. And that's what I did. So, and so far it worked. I'm not I'm not perfect, but so far it's doing good. So.
Yeah, I agree. No, wellness is really everything, right? And
Yeah.
people don't realize that if you push too hard and you get burned out, your business is only as good as only as healthy as your own health, right? So
Exactly.
so
And
it's
it's
very, very crucial.
so connected, and more than
Yeah,
we know. Yeah.
totally. I want to go back to the product before we hop off. There's some Canadians here for sure, well represented, and then there's a lot of people in the U.S. So where
Mhm.
can this product be found in the U.S.?
Yeah, in the US, we launched at Erewhon in LA. We're at Hagen's. We just launched last week. We're at Lassen's. We're also on Amazon. And we're getting ready to launch at some point at Sprouts Innovation Table. So we're looking forward to that in the next couple of weeks.
Nice. Did I hear
And
that correctly? Are you presenting or you're launching in the innovation set?
we're supposed to be launching. Yeah.
Launching. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
All approved.
Okay. That's
That's
huge.
big.
That's
That's
we're
big.
just talking about that, and here
Yeah.
you are. So look out for Heel Tea in Sprouts, and this is a national innovation set launch.
It's going to be in the region. I think it's Southeast.
Southeast. Okay,
Yeah.
so the Florida area. Okay, great, and kind of North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia. Okay, well, look out for Heel Tea. Wow, that
Yeah.
was bigger news than I expected. So Sprouts Innovation Set,
Yeah.
Heel Tea coming to a store near you in the Southeast. So
And in
congratulations on
Canada
that.
everywhere. Yeah. In Canada,
Yeah.
we're big everywhere. So.
Yes. Yeah. Canada. I'm sure anyone who's in Canada, they know you and they know where to get it, and they can go down to their neighborhood store. Robert
Exactly.
Kogan's probably crushing one right now on his drive, wherever he is
Yeah.
out yonder. So thank you so much for being, part of our show here and being our weekly sponsor, and along with PFE for who's a big fan of your product, and Robert Kogan, one of his favorite Canadian brands, and for inviting you on to represent for the sponsorship. So thank you so much, and take good care, Leila. Have a wonderful
Yeah.
weekend.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks,
Thank
Wade,
you.
and everybody. Thanks, Robert. Have a good day.
Take
You
care.
got it. Take care now.
Bye.
All right. What a wonderful person. So nice.
Absolutely.
So again, reminding everyone to stay on till the end of the show, because she is giving away, Leila and Heel Tea is giving away $200 worth of both product for 4-packs. So that's 16, if my math serves me correctly, and also a complimentary coaching consultation session for CPG entrepreneurs to keep your head in the game and keep your wellness and positive vibrations going to build your business even more, which is very, very important. So, great. Well, I think your prediction rang true, Wade. Where we don't have a lot of time for nostalgia
Pencil that
brands.
in for another day. I knew
Yes.
the topic was just too much, and yeah,
Yep.
that's okay. That's okay. But I think, are we gonna talk about? I've got one product that I want to show, since we're on this whole Canada thing, and Layla was here, and Robert.
Stuff we love.
I'm not just saying this because Robert and Heel Tea were sponsors this week. I'm saying this because I've tried. He sent me samples, and I've tried 2 of the 3 products that he sent me from this company. And the company is called Ground Up. And did you get your samples of this?
I did. Yes.
Oh, I was hoping I was going to one up you here, but I've tried 2 of the 3.
Nope.
And the one I have in front of you is Born Again brownies. They're protein brownies. And I've also tried the banana bread mix, but these and what's really cool about this stuff is they use spent barley grains in here, and they also use saved grain flour, or I'm sorry, the saved grain flour has the spent barley and malted grain in there. It's fantastic. They also use, for this, spent roasted Arabica coffee, which is in the form of gluten-free coffee flour. And again, I'm not just saying this because Robert sponsors and he's a friend of the show, but this was good stuff. And my wife, as most people know, Renee, is very picky on some things, and she'll be the first to tell you that. She was a big fan too. So she gave it the thumbs up. Big fan of this and the banana bread, but the brownies are ridiculous. In fact, I think I'm probably going to make another pan once we get off the show here and I have some time. Fantastic stuff. Have you got to try it yet?
No, I've not. I was about to say I have not tried it yet. It's in our cupboard, and I did get the package, but I've not gone around to actually making it. So, but that's a reminder. Got to make it. Got to get it done, and then eat it. So I'll have some
really
feedback.
good, really good. And I'm not just saying that. It's really, really good. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
a fan. I
What's
am a fan.
what's the sugar?
I don't know,
like?
Alex. It tastes good. Taste
Tastes
first,
good.
remember? No, I'm just let me find out. Hold on.
And I'm curious about the sugar source, not so much the level. I mean, but more of like what kind of sugar they put in there.
Well, there's cocoa powder.
Okay,
There's cane sugar.
cane sugar. Okay,
Cane sugar.
not bad at all.
But
At
then
least it's not
also
stevia. At
there's
least it's not
5
stevia.
grams of protein. There's 5 grams of protein per brownie, which
Nice.
is pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff.
That's really cool. Yeah, so
It
pretty
is.
reasonably clean sourced, upcycled, tastes great. The sugar isn't too drastically high, so good stuff. I mentioned them in the beginning of the episode. I'll mention them again. Suburban Life, and it's an amazing. It's a canned cocktail. So if you think Cutwater or High Noon or Long Drink, right? All these brands that Wade's crushing at the concerts that he goes to, dancing in the crowd. I can see Wade dancing in the crowd, bouncing out there. Suburban Life, you can add that to your lifestyle. And their tagline is your people, right? And when you're hanging out, drinking Suburban Life, it's your people, it's your crowd, it's your community. And, it was born in New Jersey. They were having a backyard party and in suburbia, and they were drinking a mixed bourbon with fruit juice. And someone said, you know what? Bourbon and suburbia, suburban. That's how they came up with the name. It was like lightning in a bottle. So look out for the pink cans in a store near you. They're expanding first in New Jersey and then outside of that in several states. And 6-year aged bourbon. So it's actually barrel aged bourbon for 6 years. A lot of other canned cocktails, they don't even age the alcohol, right? Obviously, like tequila or vodka, they just throw it right into the can and mix it. This is aged, and then it has super clean ingredients, real fruit juices, just natural cane sugar, lemon juice, grape juice, and vegetable juice for coloring. They use vegetable juice for coloring. No chemicals and nothing artificial. And then the other one I'll mention here before we get to our prize is, I didn't have this actually physically on me, but the Breeze 2,200 milligrams of lion's mane. So thank you, Breeze, for sending this. This is their Flow. This is the Flow one. Lemon elderflower, functional mushroom in a can. It's dripping all over the keyboard here because it's right out of the fridge. And it has chicory root inulin, lion's mane extract, 2,200 milligrams, fruiting bodies, elderflower, lemon, super, super clean, tastes great, and low sugar. So that's Breeze Flow. And this is, by the way, they have a line that's THC CBD, and then they have a line that is not. So this is the line that does not have THC or CBD, and it gives you energy, gives you focus, gives you flow, as it says in the name. And then they sent that to you, right?
Yep.
As well. Cool.
Yep.
Have you crushed all? Did you drink the?
I still have a couple left.
Okay.
Left. Not a lot. A couple.
Okay. Cool. Gotcha. All right. So that is Stuff We Love. And again, if you'd like to be featured on Stuff We Love, just email us at cpgvibes100 at gmail.com, and the number 100 at gmail.com. And you can send us samples both to Wade and to me. And if we like it, we will feature it on the show, just like what we did with Breeze and also Suburban Life and also Ground Up.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now we're getting into Friday freebies.
Friday freebies.
All right. So again, our sponsor for this episode is Heal Tea. And we have our ongoing sponsors, by the way, which is Range Me. Go to rangeme.com/CPG Vibes. They have 15,000 buyers that you can work with to present your product all digitally, and very strong results. You can get a lot of accounts from that. And there's brands like Midday Squares and many others and Prana that have secured spots on retail shelves. And they also have ECRM, where you can do a live one-on-one meeting with category managers. 30% off. Save 30% off their subscriptions by going to rangeme.com/CPG Vibes. And then the other one is My Way 3PL. They really relieve a lot of these pain points that many brands have when it comes to logistics and warehousing and trucking and storage and 3PL fulfillment. They have their own. They have a suite of services. They have a great team. With Chase and Barton, and Chase being the CEO, right, of My Way. So go to myway3pl.com/ CPG Vibes for more information. And then our sponsor today, as you know, is Heel Tea, and she's giving away 4 packs, so 16 cans of the Heel Tea sparkling beverages, 4 different flavors, and also a coaching session worth $200. So I've been so busy reading sponsorships and looking up information and news items that I don't even have a question off the top of my head. So Wade, you're kind of smirking. Do you have something?
I could come up with one. I got a message during the show from Mr. Hugh Curtis, who promises that he is not going to answer this question, seeing as how he sent it to me. So I'm going to trust his word. I'm going to ignore anything he says if he puts something in here. But we didn't talk about this, but I feel like, in the spirit of what we're talking about, and that's kind of what Hugh said, and it's that time of year. The question is, what's the name of the hockey team in Montreal?
The professional one?
Yes, the professional hockey team, the NHL team in Montreal. It's
I know
very
their
easy.
I know their
Very
nickname.
easy. Yeah. Well,
Can
yeah.
I say the clue? The Habitants? The Habs?
I was going to say that's very well, very well. Let's see who comes up with the answer. But
And I love their colors. Whenever they rarely play here against the Kings, like West Coast. But when they do play, I love their away jerseys. They look amazing.
There it is.
Derek Gould.
Derek got it. So Derek emailed the show at cpgvibes100@gmail.com. And man, we were getting everyone's answering now, but Derek was first. So yeah, there we go. Thanks, Hugh, for helping us out, because between Alex's initial network issues and then just the flow of the show, we didn't have a question ready, so that was helpful. Thank you.
It's very, very helpful. And there we go, the Habs, right? The Habs,
Yep.
The Habitants. So in French. So okay. So, and we just want to give a preview. Spelled wrong. Come on. Come on, Gavin, you've won your share of prizes, so we're giving this one over to Derek. So as much as we love you and we are amazed by your spelling ability, Gavin, we're giving it over to Derek. So next week is a very exciting episode where it's the, let's see, what edition are we at now? Volume 3. We're at Volume 3 of Outside the Tank. I'm loving these special edition episodes. We had the one last week, expert series with 3 amazing CPG women founders, right? We had Nicole Dawes with Nixie and late July, Karen Danujaja before with Bloom. She returned as a guest, and then Lon Pham with Sang Vietnamese Coffee. And so for this coming Friday, October 18th, we have 3 brand owners that have appeared on Shark Tank. And they'll talk all about that. It's our special edition Outside the Tank series. And that is Josh Belinsky with Slate Milk, right? We have Hank Watt with Nature's Wildberry. And we have, he's a latecomer. So not want to say latecomer, but we had one person drop out. We had to switch someone in. And I love their episode. It's Ready, Set, Foods. And that's the CEO, Daniel Sikowski. And they have allergen-friendly foods and ways to get kids, and basically kids can eat certain foods and they know what their allergies are from a very early age, so that how to navigate their diet. It's brilliant. I didn't know how brilliant it was until we had a son, right? And I'm like, that's brilliant coming from the parents' perspective. So all 3 of them, Josh Belinsky, Hank Watt, our buddy there, and then Daniel Sikowski will be on the Outside the Tank at 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock Eastern next Friday, right here on LinkedIn Live. Make sure to give us 5 stars on Apple Podcast. So we'll get the link up, or it's earlier in the chat. You can go to Apple Podcast on your iPhone app, scroll to the bottom, click 5 stars. Takes 5 seconds, as Wade said. We have our YouTube channel, so this will be up probably within 2.5 minutes. Wade's run hot with this, like he's like clicking the upload button right when we end this episode before he goes to dinner. And so it'll be available on youtube.com/@CPG Vibes. You can watch all episodes, and you can also watch it right here on LinkedIn. Save this link. You can replay it, rewatch it anytime you want, and it's available forever. And if you want to be a sponsor on CPG Vibes, cpgvibes100@gmail.com. Everything's booked for 2024 and first quarter of 2025. Someone just grabbed 10 spots. And so it's going very, very fast. Beyond that, everyone have a great weekend. Wade, take care, buddy. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We'll see you next week.